You have to look at the narrative around construction jobs too. People who go into construction, they often have a narrative, well, I wasn't smart enough to go to college, or I couldn't afford that, and I'm kind of good with my hands, so maybe I can do this. This will be an easy way to make money. And as most people know in any business, it's not an easy way to make money. It's actually a lot of hard work. You get to a certain point, and then actually in the crafts field, there's a ceiling on wages. So, having them be very realistic about that, and really trying to find the kind of person who would be the right fit for this kind of business, instead of just someone who wants an easy way to make a buck. If you're looking for those people, they're not gonna be great. It can be hard to find those people, but if you invest the time into trying to find those right people and then really nurture them and nourish them as they grow up, then you can have good workers. If you try to motivate them in this old way with a kind of a carrot and a stick, it's just not going to work very well. There are jobs that are easier to get that pay less, but they're just easier to get, and there's always that dream of some easier job out there. So you have to really sell the people who would be good at what you want them to be good at.
So it's really, we're looking at something that like a very long-term relationship here. You're talking about like apprenticeship. You're growing somebody, you're nurturing them, and you gotta find the right person, and then you gotta treat him right. You gotta invest in him so he pays you back the favor.
Yeah, if that's what you want. I mean, if you literally just need someone to like haul a bag of tools for you, then sure, hire any bum off the street, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to have problems with that probably, but you know, if you want a really high quality worker, you have to be willing to make a high quality investment in that person. You have to be really willing to, if you want to lead them, right? So, and I would just look at the whole attitude that you have around. If you Every time I talk to people who have a negative attitude around employees, I'll usually ask them, how much time have you spent with your employees? How much time have you spent getting to know your workers? And the answer is almost always very little, right? Or not that much, or I could do more. Always, inevitably. So it's very easy to blame the workers, that the workers are bad, but it may be that your leadership is bad and that you're not showing up as a leader. And great leaders have to be willing to sacrifice and change the way they work so they can meet other people. And if you're not willing to do that, that's fine. Just don't hire employees, right? If you want to hire employees, it's different. Managing people is a different skill than, hooking up a circuit board. It's just a different set of skills. So you have to be willing to learn those set of skills and willing to find the kinds of people who you want to work with.
Loyalty. This is something I've heard from several people that have been burned about it. They're saying, I've worked with people and I just can't. They're not loyal. I'll turn my back around and there'll be a knife stuck in there, metaphorically speaking. Either material will disappear or they won't be in a job or whatever it is.
Well, so my question would be, why is that loyalty not occurring? Why are they not loyal? Are they not loyal because you aren't paying them very much? Are they not loyal because they weren't a good fit for the job? Or were they not loyal because the other thing that happens sometimes is we think we're going to hire someone that's going to solve all of our problems, and so they've just become the receptacle for all the crap we don't want to do. That's not a great way to motivate people. So it's not a question of what. My question would be, why wasn't that loyalty created? What was missing? And it's possible that sometimes you're just going to find unloyal people, but generally, as human beings, we like to be loyal. We have a high value on loyalty. So if loyalty is not created, it's because that relationship isn't created. And then if people are interested in motivation, it doesn't totally apply to this industry, but there's a really good book called Drive that looks at the way workers are motivated and the factors that motivate them. So autonomy is really important. Working in a company that aligns with their values is really important. So if you look at the way people used to manage versus the way people manage now, there's a lot more emphasis on really having employee engagement. People have more investment in the organization. That's the kind of stuff where people are more invested. So if you read that book and kind of understand what is motivating these people to be loyal, you'll start to understand why employees are loyal, not loyal. Without knowing a specific circumstance, without knowing the specific worker who is working for that person, it's very hard to determine why that person is loyal. It could be totally your fault, it could be not your fault at all. So, but if you don't do that investigation and to understand what makes people loyal and what motivates people, then you're never going to be able to answer the question. And then you're just always going to be able to blame other people.